Now you'll see here as I absolutely struggle for the first few seconds against the Eye Cthulhu, simply just by being surprised, literally. Anyway, welcome to Smash Games. This is another day, another round, another whatever. Anyway, we've started to really progress here by starting to get all the NPCs possible. Before we could even take you into that, we've had a really brilliant surprise visit from the Goblin Horde, or Goblin Army. Yeah, so we obviously are having to do this. So, hey, surprise! Now, gather around Goblin Army. I've got one bee for each of you. Now, plenty to share. Plenty to mow them down in the process. Ha! And, yeah, the bee gun really just making short work of basically anything at this point. I am aware that there is one boss we will take on eventually, and I believe it's... I can't remember specifically what it's called, but it's basically a reindeer. And I know that seriously ramps up in difficulty in terms of like HP and aggro. At least that's what it seems to me. So the bee gun definitely gets put to the test in that respect. However, these guys, as you can tell, are getting somewhat mowed down, which it's happy to report. Of course, with the accompaniment of the 3 bees, which, if you are following along and you're trying to do something similar to what I'm doing, I highly advise that you get the full bee armor set with obviously the stuff, which you can get everything as long as you kill the queen bee at least 3 times. At least 3 times. You'll have enough. You should technically have enough gear for it. Yeah. Anyway, we're doing it. We're getting there. We're below, or above, I should say. We are above 60%. I can't actually, from my point of view, the screen is that small. I can't actually see the numbers, so it looks like it's 70%, maybe. Yeah. Anyway. Now we don't really get a lot of loot from these boys. They yeah, they just drop a few chunks of coin. They drop the odd little material, and that's pretty much the round down of it. You got your various ones that will spawn on you at random. Most of it's just like militia, fully armored. You get the odd mage, you get the odd assassin, which they just tend to move quicker, in my opinion. And yeah, that's really all to it. And I'm going to take this opportunity, if you've been following along, I really appreciate your views and watching all this. But if you could subscribe and throw down a like, it would really help this channel push further and reach other people. Thank you! At this point, hopefully you've also been collecting a whole bunch of hearts and stars during the night to fill up your mana more, which, to be honest, with the bee gun, you need a lot of mana to really, I personally feel, make it super effective. Also, now directly after the Goblin Army, you saw we started to go down lower before. We're really trying to look for the Goblin Merchant, which we can buy initially. I believe we can buy rocket boots off. Don't quote me. I know, but what we really want off them is the Tinker's Workbench. And as you can see here, we in the process complete and max out, or at least in the process. So we've got this second to last heart. Pick that up, and obviously we come through here. There wasn't anything in that chest, by the way. That was like nothing. It was like so super low value. I didn't even bother to put it in. And then we have that being the last heart that we acquire to max out at 400 HP in pre-hard mode. And at this point, I think we're only seeing it about 120 in terms of mana, star-wise. So we do need to get quite a few more stars to max that out as well. But we do find another 4 or 5 chests, a few more extra hearts, which we'll be using for lanterns for regeneration during boss fights and such. And we try to get a couple other things, a couple of little statues, but unfortunately no luck. They just drop straight to lava. And this is the last chest for the area. So we have, unfortunately, no luck in getting the Goblin Merchant at this point. But we will come back through at some point. We will try again. But even though we don't find them, we actually do manage to find a few other NPCs. If you haven't already come across them, which I believe Bruce here will spawn straight after the Goblin Army as well. Again, I'm not 100% sure. I just know that in general, that at that point, they should have spawned by then. We do make a little bridge across that section in there in the jungle. We also come across Philip, the fishing NPC. Fisherman NPC, I should say. Unfortunately, this section's a little bit quiet. I had to cut it out. There was a bit of double voiceover recording audio, so it ended up just making really bad echo. And at this point here, we've progressed a bit further. We're making a spot for Bruce, and we're making a spot for our Dryad. I don't recall the name. But and then the main point for that is to get our pylon, I believe it's called, or the teleporting crystal, so that we can start teleporting to different parts of the map. Now, this is our surprise. Hello, Eye Cthulhu. I had a brief message before where something is watching you, and I was like, yeah, well, I think I know what that is. And then not realizing that they would spawn, you know, it was like legitimately like a few minutes later. I was like, oh shit. So as you can tell, I wasn't ready at all. Here I am trying to put my bee gun on and the bow just to be ready. I barely put down the 2 bonfires that you can see there. Anyway, as you can tell, as long as we get a couple of drops of mana, they more or less become insignificant at this point, especially with the full B armor set. You're looking at about, I think it's about 15 AC, give or take. We've got 400 hearts, we've got 140 mana, so plus the B gun, we should pretty much just fly through that if it's not evident already. And yeah, we just organize our inventory. We had a full inventory, and we take on the Eye again. And again, this time we're ready. We're actually ready for this one. I have to admit, it was a little chaotic at that first go, but we got through it. And yeah, as you can tell, I think we're spawned probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about, what, 50, 60 smaller bees? And they just absolutely chew into the enemies at this point. And yeah, that's it. That's all we got. We got the main badge for killing the Eye, which we do hang up in a second. Or I think I've already done it, actually. That's me. But yeah, we just get like a chunk of gold. I think we picked up about somewhere in the neighborhood of like 20 gold total from the 2 kills. And as you can see, we've now started to acquire a bunch of NPCs. The nurse, Yulpin? I couldn't actually see the name. Basically, when I'm recording in vocal mode, it zooms in even more, so it's even harder for me to actually see. Anyway, we've got the merchant there, obviously, the fisherman, the nurse, the I think it's not the painter, it's the builder or the miner, I believe, which you start to you can buy all the bombs and stuff off that, which is going to be super handy, especially now that we've actually got the dust and we're starting to try and cleanse the evil in the realm. We purchased the pylon at this point, which I believe is only 5 gold. I think. Double check. Looking, reading, go the thing. Yeah, it's like between 5 and 8. It's not super expensive, and I think at this point, if you've been killing multiple bosses multiple times, it should be okay. But yeah, now obviously you do need more than one. You do need at least a secondary one to make this an effective thing. And as you can see here, we're just picking up a whole bunch of stuff. While we were building, the bees were just killing off everything that came into spawn contact while we were building, and there was obviously a buttload of stuff to pick up. But yeah, no, you need 2 pylons to actually make it an effective, so you can teleport between areas. Here we purchased a whole bunch of the NPC's paint stuff, and it wasn't effective on stone. Anyway, we're going to cut it there. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. Smash Games out.